Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, a proud supporter of WQPT, has been serving Quad City families since 1889. They now have live stream capabilities for viewing your loved one's funeral or memorial service.
At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial and physical health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
Are we back to welcoming visitors and the German celebration of all things Christmas in the cities? The German American Heritage Center in downtown Davenport wants you to not only experience German heritage at Christmas time, but to get a better feel for what it was like 150 years ago as German immigration transformed parts of the cities. More on that in a moment. But first, a welcoming group of cities. Tourism around the world knocked on its knees as the COVID-19 pandemic started to spread 22 months ago. It's just coming back, tourism that is, but so is a new variant that's threatening international travel. But what about here at home? During this holiday season, is this important industry starting to, dare I say, thrive once again? We talked with Dave Harrell, President and CEO of Visit Quad Cities. Dave, I mean, it's not a light switch. You're not going to turn it back on and instantly tourism reappears. But how has the process gone over the past year?
Well, first, great to be with you, Jim, and appreciate the conversation. It's definitely not going to be turn the light switch on or move the faucet. It's a slow burn. Tourism economics and all of the experts that analyze the travel and tourism industry, it's going to be a few years until we get back to 2019 numbers. And those non-resident revenues are so critical to our economic development and the things that we're trying to do to move the Quad Cities regional destination forward. But it's going to be a slow burn. It's going to take a couple years, but we still need to continue to press on the gas and have the sense of urgency to do the things that we're doing so that we are not in a competitive disadvantage against the communities and the states that we're competing with every day.
Yeah, because let's be honest, you're in the same boat as everyone else. So the question is, can you make the Quad City recovery quicker or at least not slower than the competition?
Yeah, it's all about how you're positioning your community and your destination. And so for us, we've got to remain stable as not only as an organization, and we are, but just as a destination. And so the more that we can do to market, promote, advertise, sell, and do that now, and do that with a sense of urgency, then that's going to hopefully put us in a much better position in 2023, 2024, 2025, and beyond. And what everyone needs to realize, it's a hyper-competitive space anyway. It always has been, it always will be. But the pandemic has exacerbated this, very much. And every city around the United States, and quite frankly, the globe, is kind of going through the same exercise that we are here in the QC. And so we have got to do whatever we can to make sure that we're, competitive and relevant, doing the things that we need to do.
We look at that 20% drop in 2020, 20% drop in tourism dollars spent in the Quad City area. Huge number, huge impact also on local taxes as well. But you were saying that you were surprised that it wasn't more.
Yeah, when we went into this, we spent a lot of time in sort of research mode and working with both the state of Illinois, the state of Iowa, Tourism Economics, U.S. Travel Association, Smith Travel Research, all of the business intelligence, partners that we work with within this space. And, we were actually forecasting at a baseline, at least a 30% dip year over year from 19 to 20. So I'm always going to look at silver linings. I'm always going to check out the positive nuggets. And so to only, be that 21.5% down year over year, obviously not happy about it. And certainly we need to do everything we can to kind of get back to where we were, to level set the visitor economy, but to only be at 21.5 versus what we were forecasting, I think is a silver lining for tourism, and that's really our perspective on it right now.
How much of that 20% do you think has been made back in 2021? I mean, is it possible to venture a guess right now?
I think it's too soon, and I think what we've learned, and obviously as a business we've been adapting, and that agility I think has really helped our destination in terms of how we're competing against our comp sets. But I think it's too early, and a lot of that is just because of the uncertainty of travel, and I think for us, you can really look at the math around it and put together some forecasts and project out. But I think what COVID and that disruption that it's had in the marketplace, it's much harder to predict on when we think we're going to get back to any sort of, let's call it, normalcy from an economic standpoint. And really, I think by 2024, that's when we're going to get back to where, okay, now we're in this mode, unless there's any, major disruptions that happen within that time parameter. But I think it's going to be a couple years until we can kind of get back to that 2019 number, which is record years for not only the Quad Cities, but just travel and tourism in general domestically.
When I talked to you a year ago, you were really worried because of the large event centers not being able to hold these big events, and the trickle-down domino effect, let's say at the TaxSlayer Center, and that impacted downtown Moline, or things that would happen at the River Center or at the Adler that would affect downtown Davenport. I can keep going, of course, the Waterfront Convention Center in Bettendorf,
sure, of course,
and the Rust Belt as well in East Moline. Now that they're having events, that's a big progress for the Quad City area for tourism.
It is. I think those destination assets and the venues and the facility partners that we have within our portfolio are critical to our economy, because as they are programmed and activated, whether it's local events or events that we're working on daily to recruit into the marketplace, it's got a huge ripple effect from an economic perspective, because it's not just necessarily about those direct revenues that are flowing into those facilities, but it really impacts the entire system. And so there's direct spending, there's obviously indirect and induced, but I mean, you're going to see impacts. You're going to have the usual suspects: hotels, restaurants, attractions, those kind of things, but it's everything. I mean, it could be airport revenues, gaming revenues, amusement taxes, F&B, like the list goes on, but then the supply chain too, and the people that are connected to the visitor economy. It could be florists that are providing centerpieces at the TaxSlayer Center. It's a whole variety of things within the ecosystem. And that's why having these venues, back and having a firm strategy and plan to activate them, to get our economy rolling, again, is important, because they are economic development, engines. They bring a lot of prosperity into the community, but they're also good for our soul and our emotional well-being, because we want to go do things and experience those things in our community. And so it's with a watchful eye, we got to continue to make sure that those venues are activated. And I think I've been pleased with 2021 in terms of just seeing that level of activation, which is hopefully going to be something that you'll see into 2022 and beyond.
Right now, we're in the midst of the holiday season. Do you feel that there is this comeback right now? I mean, you're seeing some of the downtowns that are making this huge effort to get people to shop locally, and you're seeing events like Festival of Trees that are back. I mean, are you noticing? Obviously, you're noticing a huge difference this holiday compared to last.
Yeah, huge. I think anecdotally, if you're seeing human beings gather, and at Visit Quad Cities, we like to say that we're in the gathering business, and seeing our downtowns come alive and thrive, and whether it's through Festival of Trees, or things like the Holiday Hop or Christkindl Market, or things happening in LeClaire and Silvis. I mean, pick your community within our family communities. And so you're seeing that high level of activity, and you're seeing people in the streets, and they're doing things. And so that's been critical. during the holiday season, and we're hoping that will continue to pace along as we kind of work towards recovery, and that's really the goal.
So tell me what the plan is for 2022.
Well, I think, a few things. I think the thing that we've got to continually focus on, tourism is economic development. I'm very bullish on the Quad Cities' future and how we're positioned as it relates to doing things within this space. I think the forecast that we have for 2022 is great. If you look at our shoulder season coming into calendar year 2022, we've got some events, larger ones in March that were canceled in 2020 that are going to come back. And I think that's exciting. An event like Gathering in the Green, a couple thousand people, brings people from, every state in the continental, United States to be here. So I think, we're very bullish on the future in 2022. I think the other things that I think we're always going to have to just be mindful of is that leisure travel sector, that's gaining continual steam. Like that's not slowing down because of the high demand for people that are just wanting to go do things. And that road trip, that 200-mile radius point to the Quad Cities will be really critical in our marketing and promotional efforts. Where we're concerned is in the meeting and event, convention, conference space, group travel, and then transient business travel. We need the business community to get out there and start traveling again. We need that Monday through Thursday to be robust again, because those business travelers are really critical to our economy. That we need those non-resident revenues. They're directly impacting our quality of life. So whatever we can do to get the business community in the Quad Cities activated and know that, hey, bring your customers in, bring your suppliers, have those meetings here. And we know there's efficiencies, and certainly we learned that through COVID, but there's nothing better than that human interaction and that face-to-face relationship and that connectivity. And so we need that. And not only do we need that just for the human side of things that we do, but we need it for our economy.
When you're talking about the economy, you also have a new COVID variant. We've got, as you mentioned, supply chain problems. How do you think that's going to impact the local tourism area, especially in this new year?
Well, it already is. I think it has so many impacts, and they're adverse. You gotta make sure that you're mindful of what's happening within the supply chain world, because it does create challenges. There's 8,000 people that work within the tourism space, the hospitality space in the Quad Cities, and that industry has suffered the greatest. And the things that are connected to that industry from a supply perspective are vitally important. And so we've got to continue to watch that, because it does impact the greater visitor economy. And so the visitor economy is not just necessarily an overnight stay and a guest in a hotel room. It's a variety of things on so many different levels. And so it gives us concern. And I think we need to continue to watch it, and things like inflation and those macroeconomic issues that we face every day as an economy. We got to make sure that we're watching it, because it does impact travel. It impacts tourism. And sometimes people are a little tighter in the pocketbook, and we want them to come here, and hopefully they'll come to the Quad Cities so we can give them a big hug and hopefully flip them over and all their money flows out. That's really the objective.
When you're talking about major events in the Quad Cities, we just got one, the opening of the new I-74 bridge. People can zip across between Iowa and Illinois, between Bettendorf and Moline. But your role will be to make sure they're not zipping across, but instead taking a couple of those exits. I know Moline is really talking about their downtown, as well as Bettendorf, making it a magnet for people actually to get off the interstate and visit the downtowns. Is there a plan in place for that?
There is. I think if you always draw back to the destination vision and a strategic plan that Visit Quad Cities embarked on, that wasn't just necessarily our organization's strategic plan. Its intent and what that has become is really the regional plan for how we're attacking tourism in a 21st century, economy.
Dave Harrell, President and Chief Executive Officer of Visit Quad Cities. In a moment, an important part of the city's history, making the most of the Christmas holidays. But first, Laura Adams has some great ideas for you as we look for fun things to do when we go out and about.
This is Out and About for December 9th through 16th. Register your child for the 45th Annual Children's Holiday Gifts event at the MLK Center in Rock Island. Or join the Run Santa Run 5K at the LeClaire Park Bandshell the 11th at 2. The Geneseo Christmas Walk takes place the 11th from 8 to 8. A mystical Yule Tide at the Village Theater happens the 11th from 10 to 3. A handcrafted Christmas at the Muscatine Mall happens the 11th from 10 to 1. And the Crafty Cat Indie Art Fest at the River Center happens the 10th and the 11th. Lucia Nights takes place in Bishop Hill the 10th and 11th starting at 6. On stage, the classic ballet The Nutcracker is performed at the Adler Theater the 11th and 12th. The Quad City Symphony Orchestra's Holiday Brass perform at St. Paul Lutheran Church the 12th at 3. Black Nativity, a gospel song play, is presented at Playcrafters Barn Theater the 10th through 12th. A Christmas Carol on the Air at the Black Box Theater finishes their run the 11th. Sound of Music at the Spotlight Theater continues through the 12th. And Every Christmas Story Ever Told and Then Some, a holiday comedy, closes the 10th at Richmond Hill Players in Geneseo. Matthew Curry with the Jacob Hemingway Trio and cast perform at the Redstone Room the 16th. And Gladys Knight takes the stage at Rhythm City Casino on the 16th. For more information, visit WQPT.org.
Thank you, Laura. Danica Holmes is a Quad City girl who found her real passion was in music. It was while she was learning to play the guitar that she met up with Jeb Hart, a guitar teacher in Davenport. Together, they've been performing since 2010, now based out of Nashville. Well, they sent us a holiday song for us to enjoy this Christmas, so here's Danica and Jeb with Dancing in the Snow.
Snowflakes, they trickle down in beautiful blanket of white on the ground. And yeah, it's cozy by the fire, who could ask for more? But if we slip off our slippers and head and out the door, we could be dancing, dancing in the snow. Your kiss is so warm and the night so cold, we'd be more than okay and holding each other tight. And oh, swaying to the rhythm of the night, making magic. Well, under the stars, baby, wouldn't you like to go dancing in the snow? We checked everything and off of our list, and cookies and milk, and out for St. Nick. An old string of lights painting the stage, softly calling my name. And we could be dancing, dancing in the snow. Your kiss is so warm and the night so cold, we'd be more than okay and holding each other tight. And oh, swaying to the rhythm of the night, making magic. Well, under the stars, baby, wouldn't you like to go dancing in the snow? And oh, swaying to the rhythm of the night, making magic. Well, under the stars, baby, wouldn't you like to go? Oh, baby, I'm yours to hold. And baby, wouldn't you like to go dancing in the snow? Dancing, dancing in the snow.
Danica and Jeb, Dancing in the Snow. The Christmas holiday seems like a natural time of celebration for the German American Heritage Center in Davenport. And each year the museum workers put together special programs, exhibits, and events to mark the holidays. But the center is also a year-round living history lesson of one of the biggest migrations seen in the cities. We talked with German American Heritage Center Executive Director Kelly Lau. So the Christmas season at the German American Heritage Center has got to be something, more special than the rest of the year.
Oh, yes. It's actually our busiest time of year as well.
Tell me what do you do specifically for this time of year?
Oh, so many things. So we actually have enhanced our gift shop. So we have tons of different items, as well as specialty cookies and chocolates and different treats available. We have our ornaments and beautiful wooden carved items, and even just like little stocking stuffers for kids. So we have that kind of expanded gift shop, as well as doing some different special events around Christmas time. So one of my favorite things that we do is actually a partnership with the Creative Arts Academy at the Davenport Community School District. And we work with the 7th graders to kind of create a project where they learn a little bit about German culture, a little bit about German history, and then they create artwork or theatrical works or things around that topic. And one of the things they create is actually our giant advent calendar. So we turn our building into, I'm going to go ahead and say, the largest advent calendar in the United States. So if anyone knows of a larger one, we can go head to head. But
you're really going high there, because on the website it says the Midwest's largest. You're now going America's largest.
No one stopped me at Midwest, so I'm just going to keep going. So
good for you. Well, and let's talk about a couple of those things, because the kids' arts work. Is that the Jugendstil?
Oh, nope, that's an exhibit we have
going on.
Okay,
so tell me about that, because that's Art for All. And that's going to be actually closing next month. So let's talk about that real quickly, because people still have a chance, but a very limited chance, to come down and see that.
It's a beautiful exhibit. And I understand, because Jugendstil means youth art. So like art for young people. So you might think that kids in it, but it's actually Art Nouveau and the German version of it. So we have a gorgeous exhibition that talks about the German contributions to the Art Nouveau movement. We have beautiful artifacts from Cedar Rapids Czech and Slovak Museum of Alfons Mucha, who is a very famous Art Nouveau artist. We have beautiful works from Augustana College. We have textiles from the Putnam Museum. And we brought all these together to really tell the story and show examples of how this specific version of Art Nouveau, but actually all over Europe, they were practicing this kind of break from previous art movements and making these beautiful designs that have these whiplash curves and flowing and gorgeous design for every aspect of your life. So it'd be like magazines and furniture and wallpaper and everything, just to make your life surrounded by beauty. One thing I really love about this exhibit is we talk about Gesamtkunstwerk, so art in its entirety. So like all these pieces coming together to make one piece of art. So you might think of it as a home, with each piece in the home making a piece of art, or even musically. So all the instruments come together to make a work of art. So that's a really gorgeous exhibit that's going to be closing next month. So we really encourage anyone to come down and see this, with all these different collections and artworks from all over the region.
Well, I mean, we always talk about Christmas, but I mean, the German American Heritage Center is there for a reason in the old Standard Hotel. I mean, that was the meeting point, the focal point, the entry point for the German immigrants that came to Davenport and the Quad Cities. And you always have that exhibit of the German immigrant experience. And I think one of the best things that is a part of that is the Step Into My Shoes part of that exhibit. I mean, you really want to try to immerse people into what it was like at that time, and especially when you're seeing now Afghan immigrants arriving in the Quad City area, that, you know what, we were all based on immigrants.
Oh, yes. And that's, that exhibit really talks about, the people and what things were going on in Germany that caused them to leave, because we say immigration, but sometimes it was war that caused people to leave, and had similar experiences where they maybe didn't want to be conscripted into service and they wanted to go to America. The interesting part about all this is that these tales, that we tell in the exhibition, they translate, through time from different regions, and you can see different experiences through the ones that we're talking about here in our local community over and over again.
Kelly, tell me a little bit more about some of the Christmas events that you have, because one of them, of course, is the Christkindl Market. That's going to be staying open until December 19th, because like you said, now's the time to eat that German food and get some of that German crafts and immerse yourself in Old St. Nick.
Oh, yes. So we are keeping our gift shop running all the way through actually the 23rd. We have pop-ups of special vendors each weekend. So that's where the 19th comes in. So on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, you'll find different vendors that we normally would have in our one-day only Christkindl Markt, which we are not doing it in that kind of format this year. We're doing it in the pop-up format. So if you come in on a weekend, each day you'll find a different vendor selling really unique items handmade here locally. So shopping here, you get the shop local, you get to support a local organization, and also you can buy some things that we actually did get all of our stuff from Germany just about. So we have our European goods. Additionally, we have been really just enjoying having different art up from our students at the Creative Arts Academy. So on the 4th floor, we do have a display right now of the prints of the windows that they're doing for our advent calendars, but also paintings. And the students actually stretched canvas and made their actual frames and everything to make these artworks. And what they did is they picked Germans that were famous for bettering the world in some way, and or maybe having a great invention. And they took those people and portrayed them through artwork that we have on display on our 4th floor. And that'll be open through the holiday season as well.
What are you hoping for 2022? I know COVID has had so many restrictions. I know you want to get back out in the schools as much as possible.
Oh, yes. So we actually are creating a book club that talks about different immigration and refugee issues with middle schoolers. We are offering a lot of great resources in our traveling trunks that we have coming out, where people can, teachers, homeschool, anything, can take these trunks and do a lesson that's particular to the grade level. So it might be German holidays. You could do one on immigration, or even on World War I anti-German sentiment, which is a very interesting part of history that students more in the high school region might want to learn.
Our thanks to German American Heritage Center Executive Director Kelly Lau. On the air, on the radio, on the web, on your mobile device, and streaming on your computer. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
Wheelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, a proud supporter of WQPT, has been serving Quad City families since 1889. They now have live stream capabilities for viewing your loved one's funeral or memorial service.
At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial and physical health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.